Welcome to Voices of Indianapolis, where we explore the narratives of innovators, collaborators, and communicators shaping our city. I'm Jeff Edge, your host on this journey. Join us as we uncover their strengths, glean insights into their views of Indianapolis, and unravel the qualities that make them exemplary role models. Through candid conversations, we aim to illuminate their impactful projects, collaborations, and communication efforts that are propelling our community forward. Together, we'll celebrate these influencers, fostering inspiration and dialogue to forge a stronger, more united Indianapolis.
My name is Jordan Bartlett. I am the community program manager for Indy Heartbeat, which is a violence reduction, violence prevention program for youth through Eskenazi Health. I am a certified and practicing life coach, amongst a few other things that we might maybe get into later in the conversation, but that's the basics for now.
Jordan, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I like to start the interview segment of the podcast by playing what I like to call the Indianapolis 10, as written and developed by Jeff Edge. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
10 questions about yourself and the city of Indianapolis.
Okay.
Question 1, how long have you lived in Indy?
My entire life.
Oh, geez. Okay.
My entire life.
Question 2. By the way, did you bounce around Indianapolis, or did you live
East Side my entire
East Side
life?
the whole? I don't make it to the West Side a whole lot. I'll go north, south, and east, but the West Side is not. There's a bowling alley over there, but
I mean, West Side's got Long's Bakery, man. You can't.
But okay.
Long's Bakery, Nick's Chili. You know, I can't. And I found my wife on the West Side, man. So I'm not complaining.
A fella did tell me that the best gas station chicken is on the West Side.
Now that I would disagree with.
Okay.
However, but they do have some good stuff out there for sure.
Question 2, what's your favorite spot downtown?
Probably Brew Burger.
Oh, okay.
Probably Brew Burger.
Deceptively good nachos at Brew Burger.
Yeah.
Question 3, what is the best place in Indianapolis to take a dog?
Oh man, I don't have a dog.
I'm sure you've seen some around.
Best place to take a dog. I mean, probably maybe the canal. I don't know.
That's a good one. We walk the canal a lot. My girlfriend and I and our dog Ollie. That's a good walking spot. What is the best seasonal activity in Indianapolis? Now that could be any season. So
all right, I'm gonna go. It's probably a little recency bias, but I'm gonna go with the State Fair.
Okay,
I'll
that's
go
a
with the
good
State
one.
Fair.
You ate a lot of food at the State Fair.
I love fair food,
oh, yeah.
but I can only eat, I couldn't eat that all the time.
No,
but like once a year that the fair is here, for sure.
I'm sure some people try.
Oh man, I'm just like I feel like crap after the fair every single time. So, but it's great.
5. Who is making Indianapolis a better place?
Man, the people that love the city. You know, you got people in every sector. You got educators, you know, you got faith leaders, you know, you got youth. I think that anybody that truly loves the city of Indianapolis is trying to do something, you know, to make it better.
I might show that maybe I'm not one of those people. Do we have a name? Indianapolis people have a name?
I mean, we're Hoosiers.
Yeah,
I guess that's Indiana.
It's fair. So like Chicago is Chicagoans.
So honestly, the name from the neighborhood I grew up in, it I don't really use it. It gives sort of a negative connotation. But at one point there was a name floating around, the Indianimals.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's take that back. The Indianimals.
The Indianimals. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're all referring to ourselves as now. Question 6. Where should every tourist go at least once?
Where should every tourist go?
You visit Indianapolis. Where do you go?
From what you know what? I'll give you 2. I'll give you the Children's Museum and the zoo.
Those are good ones. I do hear the Children's Museum is one of the biggest in the country.
In the country, yeah. Our Children's Museum is great.
7. What is a great date and or friend group activity?
Recently, me and my wife went axe throwing. That was pretty cool.
I've been there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. Those are popping up all over the place now.
Yeah, axe throwing is dope. There's one that I want to go to. I haven't had a chance to go yet, but Sandbox. You in the
What?
sandbox? It's virtual reality.
Yes, I have. Is that over there near
It's
the
like on
the
Mass Ave
garage?
somewhere. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I heard it open not too long ago.
Yeah. So I haven't had an opportunity to get there yet, but my wife and I, we're super excited about going to that.
Oh man. Spoiler alert, or I guess I'll give you some advice. There's a place that does bouquet arranging. It's at a brewery.
Oh,
And
really?
I think it's Indie Urban Acres. They do.
Okay.
You show up, you bring your own vase, and you get they teach you how to make a bouquet. And
Interesting.
just real easy points,
Interesting. Yeah.
You go there, you make some flowers,
I
and,
like it.
and she's real happy. So
I like it. We
I'll
might
get
have to
that
try
up there,
that.
buddy. I'm trying to get Indie Urban Acres on the podcast. They
Okay.
do some really good work. Number 8. This is just a rapid fire best foods of the Indianapolis area. Best pizza.
The Ordinary in Wanamaker.
Okay, I'll add that to my list.
Yeah.
That's. Ooh. I've been on a scouting trip trying to try all the pizza places. The Ordinary.
Yeah.
Okay. Best burger.
I'm gonna go with a old East Side classic. I'm gonna go with Mr. Dan's.
Okay. I've heard of that one. Have not had it.
Yeah.
I think they have wings too, don't they? I think I have.
If they do, that'll be fairly new. They didn't.
There's
have
Mr.
wings.
Dan's and Big Dan's and Fat Dan's.
Yeah, no,
and Old Dan's
Mr.
and-
Dan's. Mr. Dan's is the original. Mr. Dan.
Okay. Best taco.
Man, I don't consider myself a taco connoisseur. I'm kind of. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Best chicken sandwich or pork tenderloin. Somebody kill me if I didn't say pork tenderloin. On there. So I was going to do chicken sandwich, but I was like, I'll throw in pork
The
tenderloin.
best chicken. Oh goodness, the best chicken sandwich. Who am I going with? I don't want to do like a chain. But anybody that knows me, if anybody that knows me hears this, they would say I'm being very hypocritical if I don't give my honest answer and say Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
We'll
take it.
I am. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is my thing.
You should come by here. Pastor Jason's bringing us Chick-fil-A here soon.
Oh yeah,
I'll
please
make sure you're invited.
Please let me know. I was there yesterday.
And then last one of the foods question: best dessert.
St. Elmo's has a chocolate cake, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chocolate cake at St. Elmo's is pretty insane. And then of course, the cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory is great.
Man, you're picking a lot of chains, Jordan.
I mean, I know, but I feel like the St. Elmo's chocolate cake is underrated. I talk about it a lot, and people are like, "Oh, I've never had it." But
you're also in noticeably good shape, so I don't think you're exactly like trying to hit up all these spots. You're like, we got to go get pizza everywhere.
Listen, I work out because I eat crazy.
Okay.
So I have to, man. If I didn't work out, man, I'd be.
I should have asked you like best protein shake or something like that.
I wouldn't be able to tell you, man. I don't even know. I have to ask a lot of times when I have to start adding in protein powders and stuff. Like I have to ask some of my guys that are a little more into it than I am, because I'll just go and get whatever packaging looks cool.
Same. 9. What is your favorite neighborhood?
Oh man, I gotta go on the east side, man. Arlington between 40th and 46th. So let me say this. Here's my borders. Shadeland,
okay,
is my east border. 46th Street is my north border. Emerson is my west border, and 38th Street will be my south border. So that sort of corner.
Okay, right
That's
on.
where I grew up, man, and my family's still there, and yeah.
Well, that leads us into the final question, question 10. What's your favorite Indianapolis experience?
Oh man, favorite Indianapolis experience. If we're being honest, man, it's not what it used to be. But man, the Circle City Classic, man, used to be the thing, man. It used to be the thing to get excited about seeing which schools were coming this year, and then your local high school would be in the parade that morning, and you stay after the game for the Battle of the Bands, and it just the whole city was there, and I mean, not much crime was happening. You know what I mean? Like it was when I was growing up, man. Circle City Classic was everything. Yeah.
So those are the questions. You were talking about all your life coach experience, and so I wrote down some questions while you were talking to the kids, and I came up with the idea. Who is your life coach?
Oh man, I got a few, man. I think let me preface the answer with this. I think when it comes to coaching and mentorship, I think that you should have multiple,
Yeah.
because different people pour into you different things. So between my father, my grandfathers, um, my pastor, um, even my friends that I call my brothers. Like, everybody has strengths, and so whatever your strength is, like, I want you to tell me and teach me, in that area. And so, man, I mean, my pastor, he and his wife is like, talking to them is draining in a good way, because both of them are counselors and therapists, and like that's the level that they function under. And so, I'm talking to my pastor, and we just chilling out, just talking, and then you say one thing, and then his mind gets to going. He's like, say more about that, and then next thing you know, you're in this whole thing, man. And so, I really, man, I try to get it. I try to get it wherever I can, even people that I don't know personally. So, I listened to. We talked about it off air a little bit. Bishop T.D. Jakes, Dr. Darius Daniels, Jordan Peterson, Inky Johnson.
I love Inky Johnson.
I
haven't played him for the kids yet, because I've seen the video about 1 million times, but it's coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, these guys, like, I've never met them, but, like, you can listen to what they're saying and get coaching and mentorship.
Yeah.
Even from a distance. So I try to be a lifelong learner, man.
And I feel like that's one of the purposes of this podcast, right? Is finding mentors in the community. So if you had to build like a super team of mentors, not necessarily specific people, but you were talking about that everyone needs an assembly of mentors. And I always think about that in my own life. And if you were to counsel someone, what sort of mentors do they look for? Thinking about like a financial mentor.
Yeah, for sure.
I need somebody for my financial work.
Yeah, definitely somebody for your money.
Spiritual.
Definitely.
Right. The Mr. Fix It, like I need help, fixing the water heater or something like that. I need a mentor to show me that stuff. Right?
I mean, I don't know if that's a necessity. It is for me. You know what I mean? Because I don't like spending money if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Like right now, my dryer is taken apart right now because like I'm waiting on a part to come in that I ordered off Amazon because I just refused to call somebody else to come and fix it. I was fixing my water heater a couple of months ago, man, and I got an uncle that's a plumber. And so it wasn't going like I needed it to go. And I called him. I'm like, what do I do? And he's walking me through it. But that's not, some people, they're like, listen, I don't mind just paying somebody and having them come out and do it. So it's good to have, not necessarily a necessity, but it's definitely good to have. But definitely somebody for your money. So a financial coach or mentor, spiritual, relational. You need somebody, not even just for romantic relationships, but somebody that can help you to maximize opportunities to develop, even personal and professional relationships. Then you just need somebody that will call you out on your stuff, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get a lot of
that best friend right there.
Yeah,
just
like
tells you when you're acting like a fool.
You need somebody to like, nah, that's not a good idea. And you're like, no, everybody I told said it's a good idea. I'm telling you it's not a good idea. And here's why. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you need that person. I would say to have a mentor or a coach in whatever area of life you want to succeed in. So if you don't care about success in the area, don't worry about getting coaching in it. But any and all areas of your life that you want to have success, you should have a mentor.
I won't be seeking out a football coach anytime soon. Like I'm not.
I mean, so even with that, right? Like I get the joke, but then it's kind of like but a fitness coach, right?
Well,
like a fitness coach.
Specifically did not say fitness.
You know what I'm saying? So
reason,
and you can use, if you find the right fitness coach, they can use football as a means of getting you in shape because. Me just going into a weight room is boring. I don't want to do that, right? But like we can use some football drills. We can be out on the field. We can, you know what I mean? Like we can use that as sort of the carrot, right? And so even though, the chances of you going to the NFL are pretty slim, you can still be close to the game in a way that benefits you.
And I think about that, talking about finding different mentors in different times of your life. I feel like everybody should at least work with a personal trainer once, not consistently every week maybe, but when I worked with a personal trainer, he was finding stuff with my body where he's like, why can't you do that with your knee?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even notice I couldn't.
Yeah.
This knee starts moving real funny.
Yeah.
It turns out like I got
Yeah.
hit by a car when I was 18, and it's like lifelong damage. My knee doesn't turn the right way, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known it if I didn't have somebody point it out to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's what coaching them is really all about. Is if you think about sports, right? Like the coach's job is to see the game from a perspective that the player doesn't.
Yeah.
So that the player can execute. You know what I mean? And so that's really all coaching is. And so even when I'm dealing with young people, like I'm telling them, like, I can't get out there and play the game for you. Like my job is to give you the information and as a coach help you to develop a strategy, but ultimately it's up to you to execute.
I have a book sitting over there that I brought in for a student. Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Reggie Love? He wrote an autobiography called Power Forward. He played for Duke basketball under Mike Krzyzewski.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you ever watched The West Wing,
Mm-hmm.
where like Charlie Dooley Hill's character was like the President Bartlett's body man, where it's like the president always has a body man
Right.
that is just like your number two, your right hand man. He does everything for you. He's like usually the first person you see every day, the last you leave. Reggie Love was that for President Obama.
Okay.
And so he writes this book called Power Forward, where it's just like I learned from two all-time great coaches like Krzyzewski and Barack, and here's what I've learned. It's a fascinating read.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Just
check it out.
All the things that he had to say in his time is a well-written book. You talked with the students about motivation and inspiration, and you said the word they're foundational. They're at the floor. You started to talk about like low-level functionality, but I think you got past that. And then you said something interesting, and I was over here thinking about it. You said their motivation and inspiration are temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Are they foundational if they're temporary? Would you rather build around discipline or routines? Like, can you elaborate on
on
that?
So if you think about the foundation of a building structure, right? Whether it's a commercial building, a home, whatever. If you think about that foundation, if you're having a building built, you go to the build site and it's just all dirt.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the build site and the foundation's laid. And that's something to be excited about.
Interesting.
But if I go back, 2 weeks later and still all we have is foundation, you got a problem because I can't live on that.
Yeah.
I can't get started without it, right? Like I can't start building until the foundation is laid, but I can't live on foundation. Like I need something built on top of the foundation. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that I cleaned up my language in terms of, not saying low-level functionality. That's not accurate, but it is foundational, right? Because the motivation and the inspiration that it takes or that it took to start a thing was necessary for you to start the thing.
Interesting.
Right? So if you're in my home and you're downstairs, you're standing on foundation. But once you go upstairs, you're no longer standing on foundation. But if that foundation's not there, you got a problem, right? Like so. When we say is it temporary, like it is, right? Because we know motivation and inspiration. Like I can be motivated 1 minute and something can happen and deflate it. Same thing with inspiration. I can feel really inspired as a life coach, and some of what I do is kind of lecturing and inspiring. And when you leave the room, you'll feel inspired. But what happens, a week from that day?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so, but if you leave the room inspired and you immediately get to work and start your build, right? Like you can.
Yeah.
And whenever you need to reset, you can go back to be motivated and inspired again. You know what I mean? Like, so when I go back to this building, I'm no longer looking for foundation. However, when I see walls getting put up, I'm motivated and inspired again. And then, I see the studs and the plumbing go in, and I'm motivated and excited again and inspired again.
Yeah.
But I can't stay there, right? Like, that's not it's not sustainable to just stay. If you only stay on motivation and inspiration, you'll never actually complete anything.
That's a great point. I've been going to the gym at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
for years now,
Mm-hmm.
every weekday, and it's just what I do. And when I think about what started it, it was Inky Johnson videos.
Yeah.
I go, I'm gonna go to the gym. There was like a
Yeah.
really good Nike running video where it talks about like you hear that breath breathing down your neck. That's you, like
Yeah.
your fears, your
Yeah.
and I love that video.
Yeah.
And I realized, I go, man, I haven't watched those videos in years.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, because when I wanted to watch the health videos and I wanted to watch here's how you build your workout and here's what food you got to watch out for, it's like I wasn't interested. But I
Yeah.
was interested in Inky Johnson videos.
Yeah.
That got me to the gym.
Yeah.
And now I get up every morning just because I get up every morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I try and go back to sleep, my body's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in the gym right now.
For
like,
sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For sure. Yeah. So you need those resets, sometime. Like you definitely want to make sure that you're being motivated and inspired, but you don't want to be dependent on that.
I was going to ask you this. Can you help someone who can't help themselves? Can you help someone who doesn't want help, I guess?
So let me say this. I think you can, if you can get them to understand that they have to want to. Yeah. Right? So if I initially am speaking with someone and I'm realizing very early on they don't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
If I can break through and help them to understand, like, hey, listen, this only works if you want to help yourself, then yes. If we're not able to break that wall down, you will kill yourself trying to help them. Which is why lifeguards wait until you start drowning before they jump in.
Yeah. Oh wow. That was heavy.
Yeah, because initially when you start to drown, you're fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're trying to save yourself. Like you fighting. And if I jump in, you'll fight me off while I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
So sometimes I gotta wait and let you start sinking.
Wow.
And then I can pull you out and resuscitate. Right? But I can't do that while you're fighting me.
Sure.
I won't do that while you're fighting me.
Wow.
So, I
think you said on Monday when you were working with the kids that you are not an optimist. Is that right?
I don't consider myself to be an optimist. I consider myself to be a man of faith. But I don't consider myself to be an optimist. I consider myself to be a realist. And
yet it seems like you don't seem like the type of person that if you showed up for a meeting to life coach somebody, you're like, you're never in a place where you're like, I won't be able to do this one. Is there anything that they can say in that first meeting where you're like, you know what, this isn't going to work?
Well, like I mentioned this before with life coaching, typically, people at that point.
It's not mandated.
Yeah, like they're wanting to help. So you got to think, they've sought you out specifically, right? Like they've sought you out as the coach. They figured out how to get in contact with you. They've made some sort of deposit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like they've done all of these steps where like when you come into that room, you're like, okay, if you really didn't want to be here, you wouldn't be. Right? But at the same time, there is, like I said before, there's situations where individuals will do all of that because they have assumed that it's going to go a particular way. And then once they realize it's not going that way, then there's a little bit of backpedaling. So it just kind of depends.
You mentioned on Monday, I think it's called the 20 times rule.
10X.
10X rule.
Grant Cardone.
I had to go look it up because I go, what's he talking about? Do you want to explain the 10X rule?
Yeah, so the 10X rule is not my concept. It's Grant Cardone. He has a book called the 10X rule. And essentially, he uses this literal example in the book. He's basically like, we're not going to reach every goal. We're going to fail sometime.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you want to fail big or fail small? So would you rather fail at the $1,000 goal or would you rather fail at the $100,000 goal?
Yeah.
So if I reach 80% of my $1,000 goal, I only have $800. If I reach 80% of my $100,000 goal, I have $80,000. So it's like if you just boost the goal, even if you fail, you still got further than what you would have had you not exercised the 10X rule. But the 10X rule doesn't work just because you extend the goal. So the 10X rule is my goal is 10 times bigger. My effort is 10 times more. My focus is 10 times more. Everything is times 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I do everything times 10, I'll be better off than trying to set these small menial, tasks and goals. And
it didn't click with me, but then I took a few days to think about it, and I realized today, like, I got a picture of Mr. Rogers up on the board, and when I got into teaching, I was like, I want to be like Mr. Rogers, and that was my goal, because like, to me, he's the most perfect, like, educator working with children. He's calm. He just knows always the right thing to say, and it seemed ridiculous to say at the time, because I was like, I could work so hard, and I'll never get close to Mr. Rogers. Like, it's not in my personality. But then I look back after all the progress I've made 10 years later, I go, man, I got really close, like, compared to where I was.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I said last year, I go, I want to be Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter. Like, I want to be that wise old wizard, or like Gandalf the Great or something like Gandalf the Grey. And I was like, that's ridiculous. But then slowly you start looking like, I'm making a lot more progress than I thought I would.
For sure.
Yeah.
1000%.
Is there somebody, where's your 10X rule? How far down the line is that?
Man, the reason why it's 10x for me is because it's almost like a Voltron, right? Like, it's a combination of so many people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to have the leadership of a John Maxwell.
Oh,
I
wow.
want to be able to have the influence of a T.D. Jakes.
You've read some books.
I want to be able to have the passion of an Inky Johnson.
Yeah.
I want to, so you talking like a Voltron, which makes it a 10X concept, because like these guys are like so far ahead of everybody else in their field, man. And so, if I could do that, that would be great. That would be great.
What do you wish someone would ask you about in your work? Because sometimes it seems like you have so much knowledge that you want to impart on the kids, but you're holding back just for their sake a little bit, because their head might explode. Is there something? Is there something that you're like, I wish I could teach you this right now, but you're not ready for it?
No, I don't. I never have that, because I also understand. Most people are only able to process on the level of their exposure. So even as the coach, right, like, I have to continue to expose myself to concepts and principles and theories and philosophies, and because I can only coach based on the level of my exposure. So when I'm dealing with, even with students, it's like, it's not that I wish I could tell them this, because it doesn't even matter if I tell them or not. If they've not been exposed to certain things, it's not even, it doesn't even matter.
Have you ever heard T.D. Jakes tell the story of Moses and the burning bush?
Man, I've probably listened to everything T.D. Jakes has ever said.
He talks about, he goes, how does Moses walk past a burning bush and you don't even notice it? That's ridiculous. And then he had to come back. And when he goes, that burning bush shouldn't be there, that's when God talks to him through the burning bush.
So the whole thing, even with Bishop Jakes' example of it, the reason why he didn't notice it was because it was so normal. So Moses at this time is in a desert.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for brush to catch on fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
But the reason why he doubles back is because he's realizing this bush shouldn't still be burning. The bush never burned up. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It just stayed burning. Like, and it's like, okay, that is not normal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that's why he has to then double back. It's not because it's not the fact that this bush shouldn't be burning. It's about the fact that this bush shouldn't still be burning. What's happening over here that this bush hasn't completely burnt up?
Man. And T.D. Jakes turns it into the line that it stays with me, where he goes, that just means if something doesn't draw you, it's because it's not for you.
For sure.
You know? I think about that, where
1000%.
There's things you want to say where you're like, well, it's not going to draw you right now, and that's okay, but maybe it'll draw you later.
Yeah, I literally was just having a conversation with someone earlier today. I was at a community partner meeting, and I was saying that, like, society in general would be a lot better off if people only functioned in the space they were called to.
Oh man.
So what happens is we have a surplus in certain areas, because oftentimes it's groupthink. So we have a surplus in certain areas where other areas get neglected. But if everybody functioned in the area they were called to, then everything would get addressed.
Yeah.
So, to that point, like, if it doesn't draw you, it's not for you. Like, It's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
if you function, because a lot of people, this is the thing. Like a lot of people misconstrue dysfunction with disability.
Mm.
So dysfunction means that it still functions. It just doesn't function to the best of its ability.
Yeah.
Disability means it's not able to. Right. So a lot of people are functioning, and because they're seeing some progress, they assume that this is what I should be doing, not realizing that you're still functioning in dysfunction.
Wow. I think about it with politics, and that's what made me think of it when you said that, where I'm like, how many people get sucked into arguments that they don't have the understanding of or the skill set of, or, like, oh, we're going to talk about how to make the school system better. It's like, well, you don't have any clue how to fix that.
But at the same time, if we were to look at as a society, when we are electing our politicians and we come to the agreement like, hey, this person has an educational background, so we need them on the team. This person has a community background, so we need them on the team. But instead,
building those mentors, those life coaches.
Every politician wants to be an expert in everything.
Yeah.
And then you have an issue. I build my team based on my weaknesses.
Oh, man.
Like I know what my weaknesses are, and I put people around me who are strong in the areas that I'm weak.
Yeah.
And that comes from a sports background, right? Like the reason why there's more than one coach on a team is because everybody has like a knack. So like some coaches are great with X's and O's.
Yeah.
And then some coaches are great with adjusting, right? Making adjustments in the moment. Some coaches are great with connecting with the player. That's why some coaches, they're not as good with the strategy, but their players will run through a brick wall for them because that's their strength. And so as a leader, man, like I just try to make sure that whatever my strengths are, that I put people around me that are, whatever my weaknesses are, I put people around me that's their strength.
Are there, and I guess this can be our last question because it's a big question. I think about finding truths.
Mm-hmm.
After, how long have you been a life coach? How many years?
Certified,
I mean,
3.
You're in how long you've been in that field?
Yeah, so officially certified 3 years, unofficially probably closer to 10.
Okay. Are there any truths that you discover? Because some things, Ben, you change your position on certain things over time, I feel like, and you're like, oh, now that I know more about this, it doesn't quite look the way that it does. But are there some hard and fast truths where you're like, I think I've discovered that this is true about humans, this is true about people, this is true about the city, this is true about anything? Certain life truths, I guess.
Man, that's pretty broad. Like, because every day, like I'm seeing things that either confirm something,
yes,
or reveal something else. I mean, you could look at it from different categories. Like I remember, so my wife and I are relationship coaches. So we do premarital and marital, not therapy, but counseling and coaching.
Yeah.
So just small things, right? Like when we went to premarital counseling, it's like, oh, the man should handle the finances. Yeah. And then we realized that my wife is much better at handling finances. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now when we counsel, we're like, listen, whoever's going to put you in the best position, like, let them do that. You know what I mean? Like, the ironic thing is I'm better with numbers. So, like, you give me numbers, like, I can calculate them quickly in my head. Doesn't take much. But in terms of remembering to make sure a bill is paid, oh, no, I'm terrible. Man. Right? Like, so so we learned that very quickly. I even learned about myself that I learned that a lot of the decisions I made, even in my career, my profession, were really were motivated by spite. Like I functioned with a chip on my shoulder for a long time. Like I assumed for people about me. Like I assumed that people looked at me as less than because I didn't have a degree. Right? Like I made those assumptions for people, even if that's not what their thought was. Yeah. And so now I'm in a place where it's just like I'm so confident in who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing that like that's not even That's not even a thing. That's why I was telling the students, like, that's why now I feel more comfortable going back to school, because I'm not trying to prove anything.
Yeah, just doing it for you.
I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it, man. So like, I mean, every day, man, if you really, for anybody, if you really just pay attention to what's going on around you, you'll see that certain things, just may not be true in the way you thought. Like I was taught that in relationships that women are better communicators. It's not true, right? Like men and women typically communicate differently.
Yeah, man.
Right. So if we're speaking two different languages, I can't say that one is better than the other. They're different, right? And so now, how do we either learn one another's language or learn to create a language that we both speak? Right? Like, so it's just little things, man. Like, if you really, for anybody, if you just pay attention, like, you'll realize and be able to see what's true. But you can only do that if you look at things from a learner's perspective. You go in already assuming you know answers, right? Like, even when I prepare to be with the students on Mondays, I have things that I want to talk about, but I can't assume that, that they won't or will ask certain questions.
Yeah.
I can't assume that everybody's had the same life experiences. You can't assume that. So as long as you go into whatever the situation is with a learner's lens,
yeah,
I mean, you'll find that, a lot of stuff that you're taught, it might have been true for that individual, but that doesn't make it a truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make it the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was your experience. But your experience isn't necessarily like the truth.
Is there anything that you have going on in Indianapolis that you want to tell people about? You want to highlight anything you want people to know?
Man, I would just encourage people to get connected with things that are happening around them. There's some amazing groups around the city, some amazing organizations around the city. And with social media, man, we really don't have any excuse not to be informed of those things. I would just encourage people to be conscious of what's happening around them. Show up for it. If it's not your cup of tea, cool. But show up for it and find out. Don't make the assumption. Go see what's going on. Get involved. And if we do that, we'll be okay.
Is there any way that you want people to connect with you? If anyone wants to reach out for some life coaching advice, or is there like an email you want to give out? If people are like, hey, Coach Jordan, I need some help.
Not really. I would say, I tell you what, I'm in a season right now. I'm getting ready to ramp back up on my social media postings and things like that. So I would say just follow my Instagram. My Instagram is @IAM_Jordan Bartlett. And I'll be posting some videos and some quotes and stuff. I'll probably be starting that back up around the 1st of September. So,
all right.
I got a lot going on right now, so I'm actually not even accepting individual clients right now.
That's a good problem to have.
That's a way. That's a way to stay connected and to really, a lot of times if something pops into my head, I'll go ahead and post it. And we engage in conversation in the comment section, and then I might go live based on some of the comments and all of that. So, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it for now.
This is the Q&A portion of the show where we turn it over for our students to ask questions.
Can you share the story behind your journey into an influencer role in our city?
That's a pretty generous question. I don't necessarily consider myself an influencer, but I guess my path is one that it's a situation where, as you all will learn, you'll go through situations in life where it doesn't make sense at the time, and it's years and years later where it all the pieces seem to fit together. So from the time that I was probably in, middle school, 6th, 7th grade, I was always the guy that knew everybody's business because people said I was easy to talk to. And then also I didn't share the information. So that's been the case since I was, 12, 13 years old. And so now looking back on it, it makes sense for me to be a life coach now. Um, and even as opposed to a therapist, in my opinion, I think therapists look to find the root of some of the problems and issues that we have. Um, as a life coach, honestly, it's gonna sound harsh, but I mean it very sincerely. Is that I don't oftentimes really care the root of the issue. I just want to help find a solution. And so, just kind of the ups and downs of my life just kind of led to that naturally, I would say. And then over recent years, the life coaching industry started to gain more popularity. Now, in 2023, you can actually get certified and degree from actual universities. When I got certified, that wasn't a thing. So, I mean, it just kind of happened naturally.
If I hear you say something that spikes my interest, I'm gonna just keep asking questions.
Okay. Okay, I'm with it.
I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Pastor Jason. How did you get from like point A to point B, like after high school? How did you get to like where you are now?
So I think that's one of the other reasons, just even going back to the first question, that's one of the other reasons I went into coaching. I have not gone the traditional path to anything. It's just my life hasn't gone that way. My decisions haven't gone that way. So when I got ready to graduate high school, some things happened. I had a plan in terms of college. It didn't go that way. So just to keep a long story short, I ended up staying home instead of going off to school. And I was working and going to Ivy Tech at the same time. And then slowly but surely, I started putting more time, effort, and energy into work than school. So I transitioned out of school while working at a school. So I got out of high school and immediately began working in the education system. And so from there, I just transitioned from one thing to another, but I've always been big on, in whatever situation I'm in, what can I learn from this situation? So even right now to this day, if we're being completely transparent, I don't have a degree. But my life experience, my work experience, my professional experience has led me to be able to be on the path that I am now, even without going the traditional education route. So I've always worked in the community since I was a little kid. I grew up in church. So we grew up doing community work from the time. Like, I don't have any memories of not doing community work. So between that, being, a 18, 19-year-old kid myself, working with elementary school kids, transitioning from there, I started to develop management experience because I managed a retail store. Transitioned from there and started to develop my communication skills because I left there and ended up working in a call center. But my role for the call center was to internally communicate with the vendors that we use. So I didn't deal a lot with the customers. I dealt more so with the vendors. So I was developing communication, left there and had an opportunity to develop an organization because I worked as a paralegal after that. Then I went back into community work, dealing with youth again, left there and went into more community work, working with senior citizens. And, that transition to the pandemic. And it was actually over the pandemic that I was able to get my life coaching certification. So I came into Eskenazi initially as a life coach. That's what they hired me to do. And now I manage the program that they hired me for. So.
You mentioned that you went back to like helping youth out and stuff with a few different things. What drew you to that, like more than once?
I think that working with young people, I think that people are gifted for that. I don't think that that's something that anybody can do. I think a lot of times people assume that because you have information or because you have a skill set that you can teach it. And that's not necessarily the case. When you're talking about dealing with young people, before I can teach you anything, I got to be able to connect with you. And so I can't really take any credit for that. I just think that I've been gifted to be able to connect with young people. And one of the reasons I believe that's the case is because I think that young people are a lot smarter than what society often gives them credit for. So I talk to a young person as if they're an adult. I don't assume that they don't know, right? Like I don't assume that they're not able or not capable. I think that you all are in a space right now where it's almost like Play-Doh, right? So you can be imprinted and you can be molded in a way that adults sometimes cannot, because they've been hardened by life. And so now it's hard for them to understand new concepts or new ways to do the same old thing, right? And so I really just think that I've been gifted to be able to do that, and I enjoy it, so it works.
What advice would you give to somebody aspiring to do different in the community?
Aspiring to make a difference?
To make a difference.
To make a difference in the community? I would just say a couple of things. Number one, you can't lead where you won't go. So if you want to make a difference in the community, you have to be involved and ingrained in the community. And then number two, I believe that people want to be helped, but people don't want to be saved. And so if you go into the community with any sort of savior complex, it's going to be an automatic disconnect in most cases. And so I think that if you're genuine with what you're doing, with what you're saying, if you're genuine and consistent, people won't see you as having the savior complex. But I think the biggest thing is, man, each individual, as individuals, we have to start where we are. So before you go out to try to make a difference in one community, we got to look at, have I impacted my own first? Because that's also where you develop credibility, right? And so if you go into a new space and, you know, even if your intentions are good, they could be perceived differently, because why are you, I mean, I'm kind of dating myself when I say this, but while you in my Kool-Aid, you don't know the flavor, right? Like you didn't take care of your own stuff. Like there's this general rule of you got to sweep off your own front porch first. That's some old country grandmother stuff, but you got to sweep your own front porch first. And so I think if we really want to make a difference, we just have to really build connection, start where we are. And then if we want to transition out of where we are, that's fine. But before you go in trying to make a change, engraft and ingrain yourself in that community, so that change can be accepted. I mean, you wouldn't want a stranger just walking into your house moving around your furniture, right? But if you develop a relationship with someone and you invite them over and you tell them like, hey, they tell you, you wouldn't get so much glare on your TV if you moved it to that wall. You would be more open to that if we have a relationship. But if a stranger just walks into your house and tells you you need to move this couch and throw that out, you're going to have issue with that. And so I think if we look at community work the same way, I think we could definitely make some positive change.
Thank you, little buddy.
That's obviously his thing. That's his thing. I let it rock. He's probably literally half my weight, but we'll let it slide.
Can you discuss a time when a collaborative project had a particularly powerful impact on the city's development? So,
well, what I do right now with Indie Heartbeat, it only works if it's collaborative. I'm only here right now because of a collaboration. So, I mean, it might sound generic, but our program works through partnerships. So we could use this setting, right, like as an example of a positive, I would hope it's a positive impact. But that only happened through the partnership between Indie Heartbeat and Purdue Polytechnic High School. And so I wouldn't necessarily have access to you all as students had I not been able to develop a partnership with Purdue Polytechnic. So just on surface level, I mean, that's maybe an obvious answer, but it's definitely, I told y'all before, this is my favorite group. So it's definitely the answer I'm going to go with.
What sort of strength have you strengths have you seen positively affect the Indianapolis community?
I think that Indianapolis's ability to connect for the communities to connect. I think that if we probably like just sat with no agenda, right? If we didn't have an agenda and we were just sitting around talking, eventually you would know somebody that knows somebody that I know, right? And so because of that, you know, I think that puts us in position to really be collaborative in our efforts for change. Just going back to this group, right? I'm only here because I called a family member because the last I knew she worked at one place, and I called her trying to get information on that, and she's like, well, I'm no longer there. I'm at Purdue Polytech. She then connects me with Coach Riggs, right? And then me and Coach Riggs have conversations, and then that leads us to today, you know, going into our third year of this partnership. So I think that our ability to be able to connect with one another, I love the fact that our city moves at a speed of some of the bigger cities, but it's still small enough that we, you know, people can really know each other and really be able to develop authentic relationships.
Thank you.
In your time of like trying to help people, have you ever gotten like any sort of negative responses? If so, like what was your thought process in that moment, and like how did you try and move on from that?
So here's the thing about life coaching, man. So in the private sector of life coaching, people seek you out. So typically you're able to weed out people who don't really want to put in the work or do what it takes to make whatever change they're trying to make, because they seek you out. Nobody's ever been court mandated a life coach. Now, they might court mandate you anger management, you know, trauma therapy, things like that, but nobody's ever been court mandated life coaching. So typically that weeds out a lot of people. Now, what can and will and does happen is that people seek you out, and once they find out what it takes to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, then, you know, things start to change a little. But also in life coaching, it's kind of take it or leave it, right? Not take it or leave it in terms of coaching in general, but you know, I don't claim to know everything about everything. So if I give you, you know, steps to take, and you decide that those steps aren't suitable for you, that's all I got. So, you know, either you can do that, or, you know, take your chances and find another coach that will, you know, require something different. So typically when I face any resistance, I typically try to help the individual to see the why behind what I'm suggesting. And then also push them, because sometimes you might be reluctant to do a thing, but somebody else believing that you can oftentimes help to push you to do it anyway. If neither of those work, then we bargain. The bargain is this: you've tried it your way hasn't worked. If you try it my way and it works, you win. If you try it my way and it doesn't work, well, you're in the same position you were in, so at least you didn't lose anything, right? So that's step 3. I only pull that out, you know, when the first 2 don't work. That's step 3. If step 3 doesn't work, then, you know, I will try to help you to find another life coach, because I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not the best fit for you. So.
Earlier you had mentioned, like, with life coaching, the first thing you try and do is to connect to the person in some way. Mm-hmm. What main ways do you try and do to, like, connect to them and get on, like, a, you know, like a person-to-person level?
Super simple, man. It's probably so simple y'all probably wouldn't even believe it, man. When I'm coaching somebody one-on-one, I just say their name a lot. People like hearing their names. There's studies that have been done. People enjoy hearing their own name. And then I just let people talk. Because also, for the most part, people, let me say it this way. Not everyone likes to talk, but everyone likes to be listened to. So you might have certain individuals that are not super vocal, but when they do talk, they want to be listened to, right? And so I do a lot of listening. And you know, between those two things, you know, you set a comfortable atmosphere where, you know, we can be open and honest. I told y'all the first day I met y'all, like, my only rule is don't lie, right? Like, this only works if we're truthful. If you're truthful with yourself and if you're truthful with me. And I'll give you the same courtesy. So, I mean, there's no secret sauce. There's no magic trick. There's no, you know, underlying motive. Like, it's literally saying people's name and just letting them talk. And through that, we can kind of develop a rapport. And then I'll even share some things about myself. Like, if it's relevant, you know, obviously if I'm coaching you, it's about you, not me. But if it's relevant and I feel like it could help you to see a certain perspective, I'll even share things about myself. So that way, you know, it's even. It's not just me trying to fix you. You know what I mean? Like it's a real partnership. So.
How do you for the most part, balance your life at your job and life at home with?
I don't. There's no such thing as balance. The key is not to lose in the same area every day. So there are nights where I get home late, but I don't do that 2 and 3 nights in a row. If I get home late on Tuesday night and it's pretty much time for my kids to go to bed when I get home, I make sure I can pick them up from school on Wednesday. So there's no such thing as balance. You're going to lose at something every day. I can't spend time with my family and be at work at the same time. But I got to be at work so that I can provide for my family, right? So I'm not even getting ready to try to spend equal time in both places because that doesn't get me anywhere, right? Like my thought is to not fail at the same thing consistently. So I only have an issue if it's been 2, 3, 4 weeks. And out of those 2, 3, 4 weeks, 80% of the time I'm getting home late and leaving early. That's when we have a problem. But for the most part, I mean, it's communication. I tell my wife and my kids are 5 and 8. I tell my wife and my kids, hey, listen, next 2 days we're going to be really busy. You know, you might not see me as much, but then the next 2 days after that, we rocking. You know, we at the park. I'm at soccer games. I'm coaching the baseball team. You know, all of that kind of thing. Because the key is just to not. I mean, balance is you'll literally go insane trying to balance, and it's just foolish to do because everything doesn't weigh the same. Everything is not equally important. Right. So that's how I look at it.
I'd say that's actually a pretty good point of view.
Appreciate it.
How do you stay motivated and inspired to continue your efforts even during challenging times?
So I think that I'm trying to be careful with how I say certain things. I know what I want to say. I'm trying to be careful with how I say it. I think that motivation and inspiration are very low level functionality. I don't live off of motivation and inspiration. Ironically enough, a part of my job is to motivate and inspire, right? But like that's base level. Let me not say low level. It's foundational, right? You start with motivation and inspiration and then you build on it, right? So this floor is necessary because it's foundational. So it's not about it being low level. It's about it being foundational. And now if the foundation is right, I can build on that. So I'm at a place right now where I don't really have to deal in motivation and inspiration because now it's just lifestyle, right? So you're motivated and inspired to do a thing or things, and you do that enough, and it becomes a habit. And then you do that enough and it just becomes a part of your lifestyle. So y'all hear me say a lot when we do our groups on Monday that, like, this is what I do, right? And so when you get to the point where it's a lifestyle, this is what you do, right? Like, this is what you do. And so now each level you go to, sometimes you need to lay more foundation, right? So now maybe motivation and inspiration kick in for me to do something else. So right now, currently, I told you I don't have a degree. I'm feeling motivated and inspired to go back and finish, right? But the discipline that it takes to do so, I have to have regardless of because motivation and inspiration are so temporary. So I go from motivated and inspired to a habit, to a discipline, to a lifestyle. So for the most part, I don't really have to deal in motivation and inspiration. If something needs to be done, I get it done because that's what I do. And so even in the coaching space, that's what I encourage a lot of my clients to get to. And if you're at the place where you're still in the motivation and inspiration phase, great. Like, maximize it while you're there. Like, do everything you possibly can while you're there, and do it enough that a habit develops. And then do that enough that it becomes a discipline. And then do that enough that it becomes a lifestyle.
Do you ever wish that you had finished and got that degree?
Not necessarily, because like I explained before, everything that I've done in life has led me to this point. Now, it could be argued that I probably could have gotten in this position faster had I had a degree, because some of the things that I had to go through, like, I had to work certain jobs to get certain experiences so that I could put that on my resume. But if I would have had the degree, they would have assumed that I would have had these things, right? So, like, it could be argued that I would have gotten here faster. But I think that everything, like, I've learned from everything. So I don't necessarily wish I would have done it differently. But I do see the benefit in it. And it's because of that I'm going to go ahead and go back.